while I was hospitalized, and my parents were even struggling to figure out what's wrong with me. How can he get better? They were arguing with Swami too. Why isn't my son getting better? And all of a sudden, we get a call from a devotee in the center who is much older. She's probably in her 90s now, saying that there's a delivery coming to the center. My parents had no idea what to make of it. They weren't expecting anything. And lo and behold, a massive truck pulls up to the block in front of our home, in front of the center, and is a giant crate with a life-size marble statue of Swami inside.
Sairam, dear listeners, welcome to Sai SOUL 100. Our guest today is Brother Arvind Sooknanan, who is joining us from Bronx, New York. Sairam Arvind, thank you for joining Sai SOUL 100.
Saram, sister, and I really am grateful to you and of course to Swami for this opportunity to share with you.
Thank you. Thank you. Please share your story.
I guess you could say that Swami has been with me my entire life, and I just hadn't realized it. Even in the moments in which I was pushing away Swami, and I didn't think I was pushing away Swami, I was wondering, where is Swami for me? In some of the most hardest moments of my life, I never stopped to think that maybe I was the one who was pushing Swami away. Swami has been with me quite literally since the day I was born, I'd like to think, and my family likes to think. Um, my parents became devotees of Swami in the late 90s, and my mom was struggling with her pregnancy with me. Um, she was in the hospital in the ICU for a few days, and one of the anesthesiologists that were there at the time had messed up the anesthesia. Instead of, she had to get a C-section done. And instead of, numbing her from the waist down, they numbed her from the waist up. And so there were so many other complications she mentioned, but that was by far the biggest one. And soon enough, um, Dr. Jay Gopal from the Flushing Sai Center, we didn't really know at all that time, comes in and was the one to reverse the anesthesia and ensure that my mom um, was able to carry out the pregnancy. And so the story goes, when my dad is in the elevator, he meets in the elevator with Dr. Jayagopal, and Dr. Jayagopal gives him a picture of Swami, a small picture of Swami. So I guess you can say even from that moment, Bhagwan Baba has been with me. And I just didn't realize it. And yo, from my early childhood, we started having satsang in our home. And soon enough, that small satsang, that gathering of fellow Sai devotees eventually became a center, known as the Bronx Sai Center. From I would say about since I was 3 years old, the center has been in our home. And it was something that I myself growing up, I didn't quite understand much, but I just went because I thought that was the right thing to do. I'd be pleasing my parents, you know, but I didn't really understand. I again, I was too young to quite understand what who Swami was, what this was all about. And it was extremely hard to explain that to my friends in New York City, of all places, in which not many people at the time have heard about, Swami or Hinduism for that matter. And just the idea that God could possibly be living on Earth, you know, seemed like such a foreign concept to people that I myself was a little bit embarrassed about. Um, and Swami, no matter how much I tried to, hide my devotion to Swami, how much I didn't understand, Swami still kept appearing in my life. I was really struggling with my health as a child and into my teenage years. And I remember, going to places like Prashanthi Nilayam for the very first time, um, not actually having a good time whatsoever in my first trip to Prashanthi Nilayam. I was really, really young. I was about 8 or 9 years old. And again, I was struggling so much. I was crying. I didn't want to be there. I just wanted to be at home with my friends and couldn't understand the trip. Didn't understand anything about Prashanthi Nilayam. Why couldn't I just be at home watching TV or playing video games? But even in that moment, even at 8 or 9 years old, and no matter how stressful that first trip to Prashanthi Nilayam was, it left such a mark on me. Um, I always thought to myself, like, again, why why are my parents so devoted to Swami? Why do they believe so strongly? I, and why am I here? Why should I choose Swami? And even with all the illnesses and all the struggles that I had, Swami still showed up for me. No matter how much I tried to dismiss Swami, how many times I didn't felt like going to center or wanting to participate in the organization, Swami kept showing up for me. During one time I was hospitalized, about 15 years ago. I was really, really sick. And at the time, the center, it was not where it needed to be. There was not so many members coming at the time. Um, and my family wasn't doing well financially either. Um, and the center, mind you, had been in the lower level of our home for since it started. But many people have asked who weren't devotees have asked, oh, why do you bother with having a Sai Center in your home? Why don't you just rent it out? You can help you sustain you with this income. My parents, to their credit, they never even, bothered with that idea. They never even acknowledged it. And again, while I was hospitalized, and my parents were even struggling to figure out what's wrong with me. How can he get better? They were arguing with Swami too. Why isn't my son getting better? And all of a sudden, we get a call from a devotee in the center who is much older. She's probably in her 90s now, saying that there's a delivery um coming coming to the center. My parents had no idea what to make of it. They weren't expecting anything. And lo and behold, a massive truck pulls up to the block in front of our home, in front of the center, and is a giant crate with a life-size marble statue of Swami inside. And again, it was completely unexpected. No, there was no mention beforehand about who exactly was coming, much as what exactly was coming. And just like that, Swami appeared. And it took multiple people in that neighborhood to help lift Swami from the crate. bring him down a hill and into the center. And just like that, Swami has been in our home. Um, and even then, for whatever reason, I still couldn't believe why, even then I rejected Swami. Even then, I didn't feel so confident in my devotion to Swami. Um, but he still was there. Um, and through it all, again, time and time again, the point of, I guess, telling the story is no matter how disconnected I may feel from Swami, he is always connected to me. He has been there with me every single second, no matter how much I doubt, no matter how life is cruel to me and how I may be cruel towards Swami. But Swami has always been there for me, and has just shown up in so many different ways, including coming to our home as a life-size Murti, including being there in every hospitalization, in every small moment, and even including this year, these past few months, in our home, you know, starting with Samadhi Day, um, there has been vibhuti flowing from various different idols and pictures in the center. Up until that point, I have never seen a miracle with my own eyes. And it's something that you would often read about or hear other folks talk about in their experiences. And I've always asked myself, how could I possibly? This might never even happen to me in my entire lifetime. Since then, more vibhuti has kept appearing and appearing, no matter, and in every single time I've doubted, oh yeah, it's going to stop now. It's no longer going to come in. Just as when I would think that no more vibhuti will come, Swami finds a way to show me. Swami says, I've got more in me. Um, and I think the biggest point out of all of this, all of these stories, is that no matter how much I've doubted Swami, no matter how much I've rejected Swami, no matter how much there were moments in which I didn't believe in Swami or didn't believe in what he could do or felt that he was being cruel to me because of how my life was, he always shows up. Again, I came into our discussion today, sister, really not knowing what I would say, um, if I had anything to say. But I think you were so right when you said Swami will speak. He is speaking right now. He is saying that he is always there with me every single second, no matter how much I push him away, no matter how much I don't believe, no matter what. And there is every second of my life, really, to prove that. Um, and so for that, I'm forever grateful. And I can, I only wish that I can be a better devotee every single day and try to be closer to Swami. Sairam.
Sairam, Brother Arvind, that I was getting goosebumps as I was listening to your stories because from right at the beginning, before you were born, your mother was struggling, right? And at the hospital, of all the doctors who can show up, Dr. Jayagopal
Mhm.
comes. Did you know him at that time?
No, we
No.
didn't know him. My parents weren't even devotees at that time.
Right.
And that was the amazing part. They had just learned a little bit about Swami, not so much. And just like that, he was the one who comes in, who Swami sends in to save me, to save my mom. And not only that, Swami makes himself known too. In the elevator, Dr. Jayagopal gives my dad a small picture of Swami. And that was game changing. I think that really let my family know. that Swami is here, you know. So he no matter if we believe or not, he will always be there.
So when your father was in the elevator and he gets the picture of Swami and also the miracle of witnessing Swami showing up through Dr. Jayagopal to help your mother get through this, and for you to be born healthy and to be able to sit here and share his story. Just seeing that your parents became extremely devoted to Swami, and their spiritual growth grew, and they were convinced, or some Swami inspired them to have bhajans in your home, in the basement. Although you could have used that space for financial gain, your parents did not entertain that at all. And that commitment to Swami, that gratitude to Swami, and that devotion to Swami was given by Swami. He instigated it. But at the same time, at the time when you were in the hospital and family is probably searching, right? Where is Swami? He shows up not just through pictures, but he shows up as a large idol, life-size idol, marble idol, right? And neighbors and everybody moves Swami into your basement, and Swami is still there in the basement, right? And what more would you need? I mean, life struggles are going on, but he is totally there with you, telling you, I am there, right? What more do we want? We are not even asking him to heal us, make us better. We're just grateful that he's there and he's showing us that he's there. And
Correct.
then to be able to, that in itself is a miracle, but then to be able to witness the materialization of Vibhuti ever since the Samadhi time, which is April of 2025, all the way for a couple of weeks, I believe you had mentioned earlier, and then again over the summer. So this constant materialization, when you're thinking, Swami, okay, this is done now, this is done now, he keeps manifesting it. And we might not be able to explain it, but I don't think we need to explain it. So I mean,
Exactly.
there, he's showing it to us, and there's nothing else but gratitude to him that he's there with us and blessing us with the ability to witness such a miracle.
Exactly. And even when in some of the most difficult moments in my life, in the difficult moments in my parents' life, in which you like naturally any devotee would question, why, Swami? Why? Where are you? Why aren't you there? How could you be so cruel, Swami? And not knowing we're the ones being cruel to Swami. We're the ones rejecting Swami. We're the ones doubting Swami in this way. And no matter how much doubt or how much anger or frustration we might have, he will always be there. He will
Yeah.
be like a rock, like a life-size idol in our home, in our lives, every single day, you know. And
Literally like a pillar of rock that's not going to move no matter how
right.
much we shove him away.
Right, exactly. There's an expression my generation likes to use, which is, who's your rock, right? Who's your that stable person in your life? And that person has quite literally been Swami. Um, which I think is really, really fascinating. And again, I am no perfect devotee. I came into this thinking, what do I have to what could I say that is comparable to all the other amazing devotees that are there in our organization? How I pale in comparison, I feel. And Swami has made me feel anything but. He's always made me feel his love. No matter how many times I may not see it or think it, his love is always there. Um, and that that's truly what keeps me going every single day. That's what I think keeps my family going, our center going.
Swami is blessing you silently. You may not feel like you have the stories to tell. Ultimately, you do, because it's Swami has given you all this experience, and that's Swami's story. You're just sharing Swami's story. But
Uh,
he's been a silent worker, the rock pillar, that has always been there, and it's taking us this long to recognize that he's actually there. And you are very blessed to truly recognize it at at this young age.
I am. I am. And again, no matter how much before I had struggled to accept or understand, if anything, Swami and his life and his message has shaped me and continues to shape me every single day and is a constant reminder in my own life. Um, Even if there's times in which I might not like it, but I need to hear it. Um, so thank you, sister, also for being the instrument of his to push me to share my story. This in itself feels like a miracle.
Sairam, Brother Aravind, thank you for joining Sai Soul 100 to share your story.
Sairam.
Sairam, dear listeners, thank you for listening to Sai Soul 100 with Brother Arvind Sooknanan. I'm Prabha Swaminathan. Until next time, Jai Sairam.